Welcome.
Welcome. We're back.
We're back.
I guess there's really no lag time between weeks, but for us,
It's been a bit of time. It's been a minute.
holidays, things of that nature.
Things of that nature.
Welcome to Sex Sisters in the City. Grab your Manolos and martinis from the dirty South to NYC. Carrie, Miranda, Charlotte, Samantha, we feel like we know you. Big and Stanford and all the other sub-characters. We'll talk about them sometimes too.
And I think the first episode back couldn't have been a better episode.
It was great.
I rate this one a 10 out of 10 in my
Really?
book. Probably,
Episode 10,
I
10
think-
out of 10.
I think my favorite of the season. I really, really liked it.
Really?
How about you?
I really liked it, yeah.
Yeah. It was just kind of, I think it's because there wasn't any big.
Yeah, definitely. It was definitely like girls focused.
Yeah.
There was no really like relationships.
No relationships. I love that it was an episode about kids and they're like, we don't need to talk about men because men really
Yeah.
have nothing to do with
It
babies.
was very interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
I
a
didn't
lot
really realize
happened
that. Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
I feel like you think, like in my memory, the baby shower was the event, but it really wasn't. There was like two big events. There was a bunch of stuff that happened actually.
Yeah.
There was a pregnancy scare, a baby shower.
Yeah.
I don't have a baby shower. A lot happened.
Oh, yeah. Sam. Love it.
Hell on earth that only your closest friends can inflict on you. The baby shower.
The baby shower, which is crazy. I'm now planning a baby shower
So you're planning it for your friend.
for Katie. And it's stressful. I thought that the bachelorette party debacle, that was stressful.
That's stressful, but that's fun.
But that at least once you get there and everything's planned and done, then you have a great time.
you reap the rewards of your
Exactly.
hard work.
But for a baby shower, it's all the same stress and it's a lot of planning and money and everything. And it's still terrible when it happens.
None of the rewards
Yeah.
of the fruits of your labor. Are you going to do a traditional baby shower or are you kind of mixing it up a bit?
Well, she wants it to be co-ed, so that's definitely not traditional. But I agree with this. I don't get why men just get an out
Yeah.
to baby showers. It's not fair.
Mm-hmm.
You should be there. You should be gift giving, and you should be playing the shitty diaper games that we're forced to play.
I agree. No, I agree.
Yeah.
So our brother had a baby shower last year, and I thought that he did it great. Our brother and his wife, Taylor. Shout out Taylor. She's one
Shout
of our
out Taylor.
one of the 4 people listening to us. And they did a really great job of it because it was co-ed and it was more like a party.
It was just a party.
Yeah, and they got gifts and
Mhm.
the games were few and far between. I think it was just like write some advice for us for our
Mhm.
baby. I wrote some pretty funny pieces of advice.
You
in there.
did,
I
yeah.
don't quite even remember.
I
but
don't remember something. It was really funny though. We got to find that.
yeah.
I'm sure Taylor still has it.
Yeah, exactly. So I agree. I've been to many baby showers in my day because all of my friends are having
now
babies.
have babies. Yeah.
And they're really all like this. Like they're all like this. And I won't jump ahead, but it's just like a flood of pastel. And in my experience, it's like lots of older mom, like people's moms, So it's like the girls say our age who are supporting the woman having a baby who's like my age, like 30. And then it's like the mom and all the mom's best friends. And then it becomes almost like a parent party. I don't know. I'm probably too old to be saying parent party, but like it is, you know what I'm saying?
No, definitely.
Just
Yeah.
kind of a beating. Like
Yeah.
there's alcohol, but it's kind of like it's just champagne or like a weird punch or something.
Yeah.
Because it's like 11 a.m. on a Sunday.
And it's like looked down upon to be actually drinking at
Yeah.
a baby shower.
I went to one and all they had was sangria. And I know you love sangria.
Love sangria. I would have been pumped.
I hate sangria. It's so sweet. And it was like, I was just like, God, I just have to chug this right now. For me, everyone's just like, you're next. And I'm like, am I?
Yeah. That's the other thing. It's like, it's if you're of age, you
Mhm.
know, and especially if you're married, I feel like it's always you're going to be the center of all the questions that are like, all right, so what about you? What about you guys? You've been married a year now. Like, come on, duh.
Well, and then all the women that are there are just talking about their kids.
About their kids, yeah.
Which it's fine. If there's ever a place to talk about your kids, it's at
Mhm.
someone's baby shower to like
Yeah.
give someone advice. But as someone in the girl's position who
Mhm.
goes to a lot of these, I'm just like, it's such a beating.
Get me outta
Like
here.
it is such a beating.
Yeah.
So I fully understand. And
Mhm.
I just like was this whole episode like, yep. Like they haven't had an episode that's hit home for
That
me
you've
like this.
really reconciled with.
Like
Yeah.
everything is still true to me.
Mhm.
I think in some ways it's a little disrespectful of like women who choose that. Like it holds a little bit of judgment for them that I
think so.
think didn't necessarily age well.
But that's not the point of the show. The point of the show is for single women in New York looking for love, like she says at the end. But
exactly.
like, and so I think it's okay because that's who the show's for. And I know
Mhm.
there's a lot of married women or mothers who probably love the show too.
Yeah.
But I do think that the target audience isn't for them.
Mm-hmm.
But that also means we love The Sopranos. That doesn't mean we're their target audience. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
We're not. Italian people are angry at The Sopranos.
Exactly.
For, you know.
Exactly.
I assume not. At
Yeah.
least.
So I think that it's okay that they make fun of,
Mhm.
you know, moms and baby showers and this whole like environment a little bit. I think
Yeah.
that that's fine.
And I think moms, like, if you're cool enough, you can kind of understand the silliness of it
Yeah.
all. Like, I think so many moms that I talk to also get frustrated with baby showers because it'll be like, they'll get all these fucking clothes. And they're
Yeah.
like, just give me diapers. Just get me,
Yeah.
like, I don't need, like, you're forced to register for all this because, you know, people get you stuff from your registry. But, like, most of it, and from what I've heard from my friends who are moms too, like you don't even use half of the stuff that you
Yeah.
get, like because it's half of it's clothes and like I just want diapers.
I just want diapers
Yeah.
and baby wipes.
Exactly,
Yeah.
like the real stuff. But that's not fun to get someone. You know?
And even like now this all happening with Katie, Katie is a very like antisocial person. She doesn't
Mhm.
like parties. Her wedding was literally in the backyard with like 10 people there.
Yeah.
Like she's just like dreading this, you know?
Mhm.
So I think there are like definitely mothers that can watch this and be like, oh, I remember like that sucked. Like I did. And then of course, when you get there and you get all the gifts and everyone's like, you're the
And
center of the
everyone's-
attention. Like,
yeah,
that's
you
gonna be
deserve
fun.
to be like celebrated.
Yeah.
Because it is like a lot, you know.
Especially your first and
Mhm.
like it's a big life change. But we'll get into that.
Yeah,
a bit
that's
more.
a take I have too, is I don't think you need a second baby shower if you've already
hot take.
hot
You
take.
still need shit. Like you need like I guess you can keep most of like the baby stuff that you had from the first one, but you need like diapers and baby oils. But I guess you can just like do a registry and be like, send these over if you want to help out.
Maybe
Make a
again,
GoFundMe.
That's the hottest of takes when I don't have a kid.
Yeah.
I'll probably be eating my words one day. but,
exactly.
I thought the first scene was
You definitely don't need a second wedding shower if it's your second.
yes, I agree with that. Maybe not even a second wedding.
No, maybe.
Maybe just elope at that point.
Damn.
Roasted. A lot of people are pissed at me. I love this first scene too. They're all just like laying in bed watching a movie. It
I
was
know.
just so classic with like popcorn in
God.
between them.
It
It's
looks
like
so good.
my girls are back. They
Yeah.
all did. They looked really cute
Yeah.
and good.
And I love when they're all just snuggling up, but they're also so angry.
Yeah, they're so
Except
pissed.
Charlotte.
These are some of my favorite quotes of the episode too, because they just ring a little bit too true. One was, "It's sad the way she's using a child to validate her existence." And then Carrie said, "Why can't she just have sex and a nice cocktail like the rest of us?"
us. Yeah, that's a great one. That's a great
It
one.
was good. And then it made me think like, do we all use children to validate our existences? Probably.
I think obviously that's not the reason people have kids, but I do think that there's a little bit of, okay, now I have this other reason and and it's a very important reason.
Yeah.
Raising a child is very important.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do think that it can be,
I mean, it does, I think, validate I think you could ask our parents and they would say it validated their existences, you know, like it just in the form of like things all of a sudden feel like worthwhile and like important and like it's interesting. And most people also I've heard like they don't feel like a real like when they look back at who they were before kids, they're like, well, I wasn't even a real person at that point. Like when this whole episode is about losing yourself when you have a kid, losing that person. So I think it's a fascinating discussion too. And like when thinking about whether to have a kid, it's like I think something people are grappling with more now than we ever did in the past.
Yeah, because it's so much more accepted now to not have children, and especially for women, like it's hard to, and I wrote this kind of as a question for the end, but I'll just say now what Carrie said about losing yourself. And it's hard to think that like once you have a child, you are not you anymore, you're a mother.
Yeah.
And like that's what you are. And I think that a lot of women would say, and I don't know, but like would say that they love being called a mother and being a mother. And I think that usually once you have the child, it makes a lot more sense. It's what you are. But before you have a child and you're thinking about it and you're like, oh, I'm going to be this completely whole new different thing.
And as a kid, you don't think of your mom as this like fully dynamic person with like her own experiences and uniqueness, and like you just think of yourself as the actualized individual and like she's just there to support you. Like it's such a thankless job for most of forever, really. Like, it made me think a lot more about it, and also like what drives us to have kids. And in some ways like can't explain it, you know, it's just like, no, I just think I want to. And that's like a perfectly good reason to. Like if you want to, you can. And then if you don't want to, you don't have to. And I think that's a good enough answer too, of just like, well, I don't want to do that.
Yeah. A lot of people like ask the question, you know, like, well, why don't you want to have kids? And I think there's supposed to be this big like, well, because I want to have a career and I want to do this and that. And it's like sometimes like you don't need you could still want to be a stay-at-home wife or like a, you know, just not, you know, have this big fancy career and still not want to have kids. Like I feel like there has to be, so if you're not gonna have a kid, then what are you gonna do?
Exactly.
And I don't think that needs to be mutually exclusive.
Absolutely. You can have both. And like there's a good like because I want to or because I don't want to
is
like,
good enough.
Perfectly a good excuse.
Amen,
sister. Then they go into Lainey Berlin. This was an interesting scene. The flashback scene where they're all at the party.
Yeah. Well, I think we all have friends who are now settled down that you remember when they were
used to get taking their clothes off. No, I have plenty of friends. I mean, you do stop being fun. You don't really have a choice. If you continue to be that fun after you have a kid, you're probably a bad mom. But your friends do mourn the loss of that fun person. And like, there's no argument about it that person goes away for a while.
So here's my question. Does the fun dad go away? Because, you know, she's having a baby, this Lainey person that we're talking about. And she was obviously this big partier and this big like, but she, you know, is now settling down and she's not as fun. And everyone's like, oh, Lainey's not fun. Is the dad still going out and partying? Do dads lose that side? I think that for the most part, I would say based on my experiences of like who I know who have kids and who you know, I think there's a little bit of the dads do lose that side of them too. But I don't think it's as extreme.
For sure. I think certainly the dads don't necessarily lose that when their wife's pregnant. That's like most of the guys I know, they didn't really become a dad until their kid was born and then life changed. I mean, I can say Greg, all of his best friends have kids and it's like definitely changed how often he sees them. Like he used to play golf all the time and now he doesn't play golf because he's got no one to play golf with. And I fucking love it. It's great. He's lost all his golf friends. But yeah, because I think all of our friends, it's fairly equal in terms of like, especially on the weekends when the dad's home, it's like, no, you're not going to go play golf for 8 hours this weekend. And if they do, it's just a lot less, it's not that you can't do those things anymore, but I think it's more and more that it's becoming equal. But I don't think it's always been that way.
Yeah, I think it's more frowned upon.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I see from things that I've observed personally, like parties or, it'll be a birthday party or some kind of outing where everyone's there like with their kids. I would say the majority of the time I see the mom and the baby together.
Yes.
And the mom taking care of the babies. The mom's taking care of the babies together while the dads are over drinking beer and
watching football.
Yeah. And I think that this is obviously a standard that's been accepted for a very long time. I don't think there's I don't think any of those mothers are like tortured and they're sitting there like, oh, I wish I could go watch football and drink beer. But like, I do think that it's definitely like it would be frowned upon if like the mom was over watching, housewives drinking wine while the dad's like has the kid and
we're
like,
with the kids. You're right. You just don't see that.
You don't
like
see it.
We go to parties all the time now where there's babies and it's
kids.
And typically at parties, especially at this stage in our lives, like you do kind of break off. The men kind of talk to each other, the women kind of talk to each other. But now that everyone's got kids, like inevitably the kids are with the women.
The moms,
like that's just how it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, when you go to, and I think that's why honestly a lot of women are like, I don't want to go there. Like they're the ones kind of shutting down those parties because they're like, it's fun for you. It's not fun for me. I'm chasing my kid around someone else's house. Like,
and I think that that's kind of where Lainey's discomfort comes with all this towards the end of the show because she realizes what she's giving up. And I think a lot of mothers have to come to terms when they are almost having a kid or they have a kid that they do give up a huge part of their life if they're the kind of people that like to go out or like to have a few drinks and like say that's a lot of people, and so and I wonder if men share the same fear or if they are more like, well, yeah, I'm gay, I'm gonna lose a little bit of who I am, but like if I really want to, I can go out with the guys and have a beer. Like,
yeah, I was just having this conversation with my sister-in-law Andrea because they've decided they're not gonna have kids, and we were kind of talking about it, and she's got a ton of really like independent, high power, great job, like New York girlfriends who have had kids, and she's like, as much as you say it'll be equal, it's never equal. She's like, I've talked to all my friends and they're all like, they have great husbands and they try their heart, but it'll never be equal. Like, cause you're the mom, like fundamentally, like you just have more to offer this kid. There's just more there. And it's interesting. Some of Greg's like hesitation about not wanting kids was like, well, I have my career to consider. And like, I'm worried that I won't be able to pursue and like reach my career goals if I have children. And we were talking about that with Andrea. And
interesting.
I've always just kind of been like, you're a man. That doesn't affect your career at all. And Matt, my brother-in-law, was saying, there's statistics behind when men have kids, they're more likely to get a pay raise and a promotion if they have children. Women, it's the opposite. They're more likely to not move up in their career if they have children.
Or probably be laid off.
Exactly. Which is just fascinating. And so like,
and that's facts.
Yeah, that's facts.
Yeah.
And it was just funny that like he was telling Andrea, he's like, yeah, like I get that. And she's like, no, you don't.
No.
She was like, it's actually not that.
Like, you'll be fine.
Yeah, like you're actually more likely to succeed if you have a kid, whereas you don't understand like the reasoning why a woman might want to make that choice. Where I'm not saying I invalidate that feeling, and I know it comes from a place of like he wants to be present in his kid's life, and like in order to do that, he would have to sacrifice like working as late or as hard as he does. But it is like, it's an interesting conversation, and it's never equal. And some of the best dads out there in the world, like it's impossible to be equal, really.
Yeah.
So I do want to talk about this scene in general. So the girls in this flashback scene, like they're all in wigs, which is hilarious.
I love
Like,
it. Bring
Carrie-
wigs back.
Yeah, like, but they're not supposed to be wigs.
Oh.
I don't think.
No, it's like a Halloween party. I thought.
Is it? But I don't know if they're supposed to be wigs. I didn't know if it was a Halloween party because it just looked like a party.
I think because
They all looked crazy.
They looked too crazy for that to be a legitimate flashback.
Yeah, Carrie's in this long wig
And she has like a cowboy hat on.
hat, yeah.
I think Miranda has this like black short bob.
That's it was red. I wasn't sure if it was supposed to be her real hair, but it was the fuck ass bob that we always talk about with a blazer and a white V-neck.
Crazy
which was
look.
Just, that's my worst dress.
That's your
hands
worst
down.
nightmare.
She looked crazy.
That's yeah.
And Samantha looked great and whatever, but she looked a little crazy. She had teased hair. And then I want to talk about the scene where she gets crazy, Lainey, and she takes off her clothes.
Yeah.
They used a body double. So I noticed this. They have like photos of her, like, getting ready to take her clothes off, and they never show it. And then when she starts taking her clothes off, we get a good boob shot, a good ass shot. They refuse to show her face.
Yeah.
And then they show like a little bit of her face at the bottom of her chin. I was like, that's not the
her.
same girl.
Yeah. You know what? I didn't even think about that, but you're right. They totally used a body double.
They used a body double with great tits and great ass. And this girl was probably like, yeah, I don't want to do that. Or the actress they hired. I don't know why they wouldn't just get an actress who was willing to take her clothes off. But I was like, that's a body double
That's
right
interesting.
there.
Wow. Yeah, they didn't show her face at all.
No, very interesting. Then Miranda says, I lost 2 sisters to motherhood. I know what I'm talking about.
You've lost a lot of
I've lost
sisters.
a lot of sisters to motherhood.
To motherhood.
Pretty much all of them that live here, at least.
I like literally can't believe Katie is having a baby. Katie is like my oldest best friend. We've literally known each other since we were 11, and not only like oldest best friend, but like probably one of the craziest party girls ever. But I mean,
she's your Lainey.
She's my Lainey. But she really settled down when she was 20.
Yeah.
She got married at 19, started settling down, and like it's been a while now. We're both 27, and you know, she's decided, you know, that
a teen mom.
It's time. But for her, it's been a long time coming. And I do think that she's ready and she's going to be a great mom. But it's like, in my mind, she's still 15.
Yeah.
And it's really weird it's not that I can't picture her. I think she is maternal. And it's not that I can't picture her with a baby, but it's also like, I do fear that she's going to change a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that you have a lot of, you know,
exactly
with that.
And like this has brought out a lot of feelings of like guilt. Like I feel guilty talking about this, and I don't hold it against any of my friends that we don't see each other as much, but we just don't see each other as much, you know? And maybe part of that is my fault, and maybe I'm not offering to like,
let's go with the baby somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. And which I do. I'm like, do you want to go to lunch? Like the baby's welcome. And it just doesn't ever end up happening. And I think I don't have the appreciation of like just how difficult it is sometimes to get out the door with a baby, and how like much easier it might be to just be like, I'm sorry. Like we're just staying home as a family. And like, I think Greg and I have gotten this sense that some of our friends kind of avoid us now, because when you see us, it sometimes comes with like a lot of drinking or a lot of like, and they'll be like, no, we just can't hang out with you because we can't do that with you anymore. And we want to make it clear, like, no, like if you're seeing us, like we don't have to like party all night.
Yeah.
Like it can be like a quick like 2 hours and we get lunch or whatever. But it is tough because when you're seeing someone and you're catching up, you're just like, come over to our house now and like whatever. But and like my brother and sister-in-law, Mark and Leslie, and they're like my nephew. We see them all the time because we're just constantly going to their house. Like, but
And you're also that's your
family.
family.
So
That's
we could
different.
just drop in at their house
Yeah.
at any time, and
Mhm.
that's not a big deal. But for friends, it's not as much that situation.
I also think that there's a little bit of I don't want to say like jealousy, but I think that your friends may see you and Greg and may like Lainey kind of remember the old times and maybe be a little bit resentful.
Maybe. Yeah.
I don't know if like it's that extreme to say resentful, but like
Unconsciously,
maybe
Yeah.
unconsciously like remembering when they didn't have kids and were just married and just had their lives together and like got to party whenever they wanted or got to do whatever they wanted.
Yeah.
And I think it might be easier. And just like it's hard for like all them in the episode to be at a baby shower with a bunch of moms, it might be hard for a bunch of moms to go to I'm not having a baby shower.
Oh, I know.
You know what I mean?
To me, like I was thinking, I'm like, if I did that, like I would be canceled with our group of
that's
friends.
what I'm saying.
Like it's kind of
like
messed
I
up.
think that it kind of goes both ways. And like I get why like moms might not want to do something like that or might not want to because like you're in your own two different worlds.
Exactly.
And that doesn't mean like we hate each other and we're feuding over here. But like I do think that there's some like I don't want to go to a baby shower all the time. And I don't think that a mom would really blame me, and I wouldn't blame the mom for not wanting to go to a party or like
exactly
that starts at 9. Like I do see how there can be a divide there.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm turning 30 in a couple months, and Greg's been like, I know, so old. And all my friends are my husband's age here, at least. All my friends where I live are Greg's age, so they're like 32 and 33. So they've all turned 30 before, and they all have kids now that are turning 1 and 2 and 3. And I want to throw like a 30th birthday, but it just feels so juvenile, first of all, when all these people have kids. And like I'm having a lot of issues with like asking them to do something for me when A, they've all turned 30, so it's not exciting to them. B, they have kids, and like I don't know, it just feels weird to like celebrate myself among these people who like it just feels really silly.
That's crazy talk. That's absolutely nuts.
That's how I
We're
feel.
throwing this girl a 30th birthday party, and if you don't want to come, you don't have to come, okay? And no, fuck that. No, that's so stupid. No, yeah, they had 30th birthday parties.
Yeah,
like just because you're the youngest of the bunch, I don't think you should feel guilty about that.
Yeah,
and if they don't want to celebrate you, they're not good friends.
Yeah. It's like to get people to do stuff like a party is like you have to plan it like at least 2 months in advance because you got to get babysitters and you got like it's a whole thing.
But I do get if you can't go because you have a baby, you can't go because you have a baby, whatever.
Exactly.
Like I do get that, but I don't think anyone would be like, oh, Lauren's having a 30th birthday party. How like inconvenient for us. I don't think if anything, and I know your friends and I love them all, and I think that all of them would be like either, oh, fuck yeah, I can't wait for this, or shit, we can't because we have this baby thing, and they would feel bad that they couldn't go.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think anyone would. No. It's your 30th birthday party. Like, we're going to party.
Okay.
And if you want, you can just say no moms allowed. No.
Yeah, no women. Just have all these men come.
Gross.
Sounds awful. Have the boys stay home, actually. Have the boys watch the kids.
Exactly.
And I like on nights, we actually had a girls' dinner. You were out of town in December. And it was like pulling teeth to get everyone. It was like herding cattle to like, you were on the text thread. It was so difficult. And then once we did, it was so nice. And it was like, all the men are watching the babies tonight. So Greg really wanted to go and do something with the guys, but they couldn't because they're all watching their individual kids. Awesome. So poor Greg, I don't think he did anything that night. He was home alone.
Just waiting for you
because he couldn't hang out. I was like,
Brad.
I don't know what Brad was doing that night because you weren't around. I'm not sure.
Maybe we both were gone.
Maybe you were both gone. I think you were in New York, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just so funny. And it was like all the girls were like, yeah, he's staying home with the kid tonight. And like a couple of us stayed out late. And
that's awesome.
But yeah,
See, that
like
is
those nights,
possible.
like they're
Yeah.
possible. They require a lot more forethought than they used
Mhm.
to, but when they do happen, it's great. And
Yeah.
the boys have those nights all the time
Yeah.
too. So
Yeah. It equals out.
exactly.
They're about to go to the
Girls in the convertible with their
Oh,
chic
I
sunglasses.
said, why are they all dressed like they're going to a funeral?
I know they're all in black.
Has to be on purpose.
Have-
Had to have done that on purpose.
Yeah.
At least the black jackets. Yeah.
Have you heard that trope that everyone in New York wears black? It's like a thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think that's true.
Yeah.
I think it's like everyone in California wears yellow. Everyone in New York wears black. And that's just like,
That's just how it goes.
Yeah.
There's hippies in California. And
I think that
everyone-
you have to, there's this sort of like stigma of looking like you're from New York. Because
Yeah.
if you look like you're not from New York,
you get
you
roasted.
get shit on. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. I
You
love
just want a pastrami sandwich, but if you're not dressed in black, he's going to kick you right out of a sandwich
Give
shop.
me a bagel at your
Oh.
bodega. I'm in black.
Get out of line, honey.
I'm walking here.
In the car park.
That's how they talk there. So yeah, they all look so chic and I love it. And they're like, I really want to ride a convertible with a bandana around my head and
Yes.
sunglasses and just have that moment.
Oh, yeah, when they're all sitting in the backseat and Samantha goes, does anyone know how to drive?
Yeah.
was
I
really
thought
funny.
that was so
But
funny.
then, yeah, they show up to the house, which is
Wait, let's talk about their gifts for a second.
Oh, yeah,
Amanda's
yeah.
bringing a bottle of scotch.
genius.
Miranda's bringing condoms.
Genius.
Carrie forgot a gift as usual.
Yeah.
Wants to just give her cash, which I'm sure most mothers would
Would
appreciate.
totally.
Cash. Bottle of scotch is a little bit funny. Pack of condoms is just fucked up.
That's wild. It would be, yeah, it would be a funny little like gag,
Yeah,
but along with something else real.
I think
Yeah.
like any
Miranda
mother
has been
would
the
be.
most like just
She's kind of toxic.
difficult person in this episode, which she usually is.
She always is the
Yeah.
most cynical, the most. But,
Yeah.
And then Charlotte with her like.
Yes.
I love how unabashedly like Charlotte is excited about all this.
Yeah.
And embraces all of it.
And she knows that her friends aren't excited, but that doesn't make her not excited.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
she's like, I'm not ashamed that I
Yeah.
love babies and I love baby showers and
Mhm.
like, and she's like Miss Connecticut with the
Mhm.
big like amazing gift that makes up for all of their shitty gifts.
Yeah, but she takes a turn.
and we love it. Okay, they get to the house. The house is beautiful
Yeah.
in the suburbs.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. The dog has a zap collar.
Yeah.
That's an electric fence. For or against zap
Against.
collars? Me too.
Just keep the dog inside.
Yeah. Why?
People did that for so many years. Why do you got to change something that doesn't?
Why do that?
Why fix something that isn't broke?
Yeah.
As they say.
As they say. Their outfits. Let's talk about their outfits. So like you said, all in black coats.
I love the black coat look.
It's
I think
like-
it's really chic.
It's
really
so
cool.
good. I don't like Carrie's pink.
I was gonna say the
dress.
same thing. I think I find it a little boring.
Yeah.
There's a shot where it shows her shoes, and I really like her shoes. I think
Mhm.
they're really cute. But yeah, it wasn't a huge Carrie
It wasn't
moment.
very flattering.
No,
But that's okay because Sam made up
Sam.
for everyone.
she looks so hot.
Her body is tea.
It's unreal.
piping hot tea.
Yeah, and I love that that's what she decided to wear. She's like, look at my flat stomach as I walk into
Look
this.
at my flat ass stomach.
as I walk into this.
If I went
party.
to a baby shower in that, I might be kicked out.
Yeah,
They might ask, the mom might ask me to leave, and that would be warranted.
yeah, and that's why you wear that, so you are kicked out. Oh, gotta go.
Oh, sorry. No, that's so true. I didn't even think about that. Like, let me show her how great I
Because
look.
Samantha doesn't like Lainey,
Yeah.
so I think she wanted to show her that. And then when Lainey answers the door, she's like, "Oh, I can eat whatever I want. Aren't you jealous?" And then Sam goes, "I'm gonna go drink. Aren't you jealous?" Loved. I loved that.
It was so good. And you know what? She actually can't eat whatever she wants. You can't have lunch meat, sushi.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, their outfits, Sam's in particular, are so good. And yeah, like I said, all the women are dressed in pastel. It really counteracts with all the women or the New Yorkers in all black.
Yeah.
Like it's just very clear. And it's like every baby shower I've ever been to.
Mm-hmm.
It's
chaos.
chaos.
It's lighting up. I forgot what she said. Lighting up at like a little terry cloth bib, like it was like a new car or something like that. Like she
Yeah.
couldn't wrap her mind around getting excited for these like little like baby trinkets.
Yeah, I think it said like the same excitement she used to like pull men's pants off.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah,
pull
yeah.
rock stars' pants
Yeah.
off of. It was, yeah, it's really, and it's so funny. It is comical. Every baby shower you go to, I like watching them open the gifts too. A lot of girls I know are like, no, I'm not doing gifts. Like, I'm not opening gifts in front of everyone. And I think that's okay too if they just don't want to. But
it might feel a little like infantilizing
yeah,
to like be opening gifts.
And it's very performative. You have to just like exhausting, like, this is great. And all the attention's on you. But it is like, ooh,
Wow.
like it's
Crazy. Yeah.
I went to one where this woman at the baby shower, one of the mom's friends, had knit the baby so many things. Like, I've never seen that many things knitted before. And like it was like, I'm not kidding, like a dress, socks, a scarf, a hat, a bib, shoes,
Takes
Easter
a long
outfit.
time.
No, a blanket. Like, it was like every single thing was knitted. It was very sweet. And it was like, and it was my friend Carol, Adam's wife.
Yeah.
And she's pulling them out. And so each thing she's got to be like, wow. And then
Oh my
she
God.
pulls out what I guess was a bib. And she goes, it's a purse. It's so cute.
Oh my God.
Which I loved because it was so Carol like loves fashion.
Yeah.
And she she's like, a purse.
Yeah. That's so
And
cute.
she's like, no, it's a bib. She's like,
That's so
oh,
cute.
even better.
Yeah. That's what I wanted, actually.
Yeah. Oh, baby showers.
Yeah, it's very stressful. Like the whole scene. I don't know. It just seems it seems like a lot to walk into, especially when I assume like they're all in their late 30s, always thinking about, always getting asked when are they going to settle down. And I can assume that might be really hard to walk into,
It's very isolating. It just kind of feels like you have nothing to contribute to the conversation. Like, especially at the most recent ones I'm going to, where people are now maybe on their second baby or it's someone's first, and then everyone there already has one. And it's just like, okay, we're just going to talk about babies for 3 hours, and I have literally nothing to contribute. And I'm just kind of like making stuff up.
Yeah.
I'm just like, and I find myself too talking about my niece and my nephew the whole time. And I'm just like, oh yeah, Leo loves to do that. Like, as if he's my kid, because I just have
that's something to offer.
It's something to offer. But I'm sure people are like, yeah, well, that's not. Yeah, you find out that all these women used to be fun when they talk to the camera, and it really makes you never want to have kids. Like, they all
The first girl in that montage is shout out Goodfellas. She's the girl at the very end that is helping him deliver, like getting on the flight to deliver the money or whatever it is. And she goes, I need my hat. It's my lucky hat. And he's like, you need your hat? And he's literally been up for 48 hours. Like, he's in like the last like 30 minutes to like go do I don't know. I really like that scene. I think it's a good scene.
Shout out that girl.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, this scene especially, I was like, do I want kids? I don't know. Because they all just talk about who they used to be. And it is like, it's just a loss of individualism, and it's a bummer. It was just bummed me out.
Yeah, it is sad. And I also think that that's also kind of showing like what they're not saying to each other.
Yeah.
The whole like looking in the camera means they probably aren't having these conversations.
Yeah. And I do think it's like so important to talk about that part of it too. Like, you can love your kid and love being a mom, and also acknowledge that like it sucks.
Shout out Night Bitch.
Night Bitch. I thought about Night Bitch a lot in this. If you haven't watched Night Bitch, it is worth a watch, I think.
One of Amy Adams' best performances, and it really like highlights how difficult motherhood is, and like giving things up. But it also, spoiler alert, at the end, she has another kid, so she decides ultimately that she loves being a mom, but like you can be two things at once,
Exactly. It was like, I think talks about the shit that people don't talk about, like wrecks your body. It like for a long time. Like it's not just when you're pregnant. Like it wrecks your body for years. Like you're not you anymore. You're just kind of you're just responsible for the life of this kid, and it's like so
or
repetitive.
so it feels like.
Yeah. It just feels like the repetition that they show in that movie of just like her every morning like making the waffles and like it never ends. Like
Never ends. Yeah.
I say that like I have experience with it when I don't. I watched my niece for 1 week and it was the hardest week of my life watching Izzy, and she was going to school all day.
I think it's easier when I don't know. It's probably easier when they're your child. Because not easier, but there's definitely more, I don't want to say motivation. You're motivated to take care of Izzy, but like I do feel like there's a certain like, it's kind of like taking care of yourself in a way, is taking care of your child. That's what I assume it's like.
Yeah, well, in taking care of her, I was dropped into her world, so I was at someone else's house, like learning her routines. Like I think when it's yours, you build those routines yourself, and then they just become a part of, like for this, I was like just doing homework with her every night for 5 nights. I was like, oh my God, it never ends. You never stop getting homework. There's homework every night.
There's homework every night.
Like it was crazy.
Yeah.
And I had all these plans to like do fun things with her. And there was just no time. Like there was no time during the week to do anything fun. It was just like being kind of not the fun aunt that I like to be, which is like, okay, now I have to sit here with you for an hour and be a bitch to you because you can't focus because because you've been at school all day.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have an hour of homework when you get home. It was tough.
Yeah.
Shout out Cole and Taylor being great parents. Shout
all
out.
parents.
All parents. That shit is hard. Then we get Miranda sitting outside. The witch from Hansel and Gretel was very misunderstood.
That's a great quote.
Miranda is so good in the sub. So many good one-liners. And then we have my favorite scene, potentially of all time on the show. I love it so much. The baby name scene.
There's so much to unpack here.
So much to unpack. Do you want to start or should I?
You go.
So
very passionate about this scene.
We get to this. This is a bad name in my opinion too.
Oh, it's terrible. Shayla.
It's or Todd. She says like little Todd or Shayla.
You love Todd.
Todd. Hilarious name. That's my dog's name. And then you just see Charlotte's tune changed, and she's just like,
she's released.
Charlotte
cracks,
loses it, and she's like, "This is the name that I made up for myself when I was a kid."
And you know that she did. Like she 100% told everyone, "Do not take this name." Like it's very important to her.
People are serious about this. They're serious about baby names. And she just like unleashes on her. And then both the women are kind of making her feel stupid, which I think a lot of people can make women feel stupid about things that they care about, something like this. And she's losing it. And one of them says, "You don't even have a baby," which tough.
That was uncalled for.
I do kind of abide by that rule too. Yeah. I think it's like whoever gets there first sometimes.
Yes, but I do feel like there is an unspoken kind of rule of like, if someone tells you that they want this baby name, it's really fucked up to take it.
Yeah, especially if they say like what she like you can't take it, and this is a secret.
But also if it's like a pretty unique name. I don't know a Shayla.
No, I've never heard.
I've never met a Shayla.
I can't imagine doing that to someone too. That is like for example, Katie and I both said we like the name Jack for a boy, but Katie is pregnant with a boy right now.
Okay,
so she can have it.
And that's fine. If you're both sitting like, oh, that's a really cute name. But I feel like if you went to Katie and you're like, I've had this name like in my journal since I was,
especially if it's unique. Like
10.
Katie and I, we both like the name Jack.
Jack isn't that unique
name,
yeah,
but
so
Shayla. Yeah.
But if you were like, yeah, I've had this, names picked out since I was 10, and like if I ever have a boy, like I'm gonna name him Jack.
XYZ,
And like
yeah.
if you were very passionate about it, I don't think Katie would.
No, she wouldn't.
I think Katie would be like, oh, I love that name too, but I don't think she would.
She wouldn't.
Yeah.
She's a good enough friend.
And
She
it's
would never.
different. It's different when like you're sitting there and you're just talking about baby names and like that comes up. But like I think, yeah, that's fucked up.
It was
fucked up.
crazy.
Crazy.
And so then we get to Sam coming in and she goes, "What's wrong?" And she stole my baby name. You bitch.
Yes.
I can't believe you're freaking out over a name.
I mean, you're not even pregnant.
That's not the point.
What's going on?
She stole my baby name.
You bitch. Let's go.
It's so unexpected. You don't like expect Sam to ride for her like that, really. You expect Sam to be like, oh, this is stupid, whatever. Because that's actually what would happen on like any sitcom you've ever seen. They would make fun of this, like, come on, it's stupid,
Yeah.
whatever. But Sam riding for her like
Immediately.
that, you bitch, let's go.
Let's go.
Like taking her under her arm.
And I love it because she already doesn't like this girl.
Yeah.
So she was waiting. I feel like she's waiting for like the one chance she gets to call her a bitch and leave. And this was her chance.
And like Charlotte too, like, you know, you don't see a lot of Sam and Charlotte. They're so different. And like for her, knowing that Charlotte was the only person excited about this and like really being there for her, it's why we love Samantha.
It's why we love Samantha. It's why we love the girls, how different they are, but how much that it shows like female camaraderie and like even if like you don't maybe agree with why your friend's upset, you're gonna have her back.
Always.
And maybe in the car you'll be like, yeah, that was stupid to be pissed about, but you would never tell her the other person
she
that,
like
you know?
validates her
She
reasoning.
validates it, and then
and we both agree it is kind of fucked up.
it is. And I think that you're right. A lot of people would have been like, oh, Charlotte, like
come on. It's okay. It's not
you
a
can
big
pick
deal.
another name.
Because they all don't think it's important either. Samantha doesn't want to have kids.
True.
She doesn't like that's not important to her.
So it's not something that Samantha would be like, oh, like that's terrible. But that doesn't matter.
No.
What matters is that Charlotte and I think the other part of it is that Samantha knows that Charlotte wouldn't be getting mad for no reason. Charlotte's polite.
Yeah.
Charlotte wants to be friends with Lainey. She wants to be friends with the moms. And so for Samantha to come in and see Charlotte visibly upset is like, that's when Samantha's radar goes off and goes, oh, something is wrong, because she wouldn't just be getting upset for no reason. If that was Miranda upset, I think Samantha would have just come in and kind of rolled her eyes and be like, well,
That's true.
Miranda's been upset this whole time.
Yeah.
And so I think that like they all kind of have these like radars on each other of like things that are out of place because they know each other so well. And I don't know. I think that bond is like, that is why we love them so much, you know?
This was the scene that made me start the show, because you see this all on social and like I saw it on Twitter, on TikTok, because it's iconic. Like it's so iconic. It's just that like, okay, this is why you watch it, because it's just like female loyalty, empowerment, like whatever it is. And she looks so hot doing it too, like just walking with her perfect stomach,
I know.
the most perfect bod.
I love Samantha so much.
The best.
I just want to be her. She inspires me to be better.
Me too. The girls then have beers and bar nuts. I love seeing them in different settings. Like, big fan of just seeing them like at a baby shower or like not just having Cosmos somewhere, but like at a dive bar having beers and nuts is just
And
like,
knowing like what they just came from, all of them battling their own kind of inner demons and then stopping at the first dive they see.
Yeah.
And
like,
being like, we need to like unpack and just like chill here for a minute and have a
Exactly.
drink before we head back to Manhattan.
yeah, like we can't wait to do this in the city. Like, let's just do it now in the closest place we can find to like download on what just happened.
Yeah.
It's so good. Do you have any baby names that you are saving for yourself
No.
that you would, because a lot of women do, like a lot of
lists in their
women will have
phones.
like lists
Yeah.
in their phones of baby
No.
names.
I don't know. I have a list right now for Katie's.
Really?
Because
She asked you to help?
well, no, she didn't ask me to help, but she doesn't have a name yet. So I've just been thinking, No, I don't. Do you?
I did. Never in my phone, but just like mentally.
Yeah.
I never had it. Well, I always, my favorite movie is 500 Days of Summer.
Mhm.
And I always wanted to name my daughter Summer.
I
But
thought you were gonna say autumn.
but Greg doesn't like the name Summer. In fact, he hates it. In fact, everyone
hate
I've
that
told
name.
that I like the name Summer hates that name.
I think because it reminds me of Miranda Cosgrove in School of Rock, and she's like the bitch.
See, that's great too. I like School of Rock. Every fictional character I know named Summer, I've always really liked. Like
Yeah.
Summer from the OC, I love. I really love the name Summer, and Greg fucking hates it. And everyone I've spoken to in my life hates it.
Maybe that's even more of a reason.
I
I guess if Greg hates it, you
if
can't
Greg
really get
hates
around
it, we
that.
can't do it. We have other ideas now for a girl. We don't have any ideas for a boy. The only idea because he doesn't like the name Jack, I think Katie should have it if
She wants it.
she wants.
Take it.
I think
I'll give it to you.
that's fine because Greg doesn't really. like
Katie
it
loves that name
anyways.
Jack too. She was thinking about Jack. But I think
You're-
she's gonna I think
Is
she's
she
gonna
having a boy?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I think she's gonna go with Lou. She really likes Lou.
Oh,
I
that's
know.
nice. It's kind of like an older name too. Like
Yeah.
I like it's probably not popular with the new generation.
Yeah. Like Lou Reed.
Mhm. That's cute.
I really like it.
Yeah, we're at a loss for boy names. And I can't do Summer anymore. So we got some ideas for a girl. But yeah, it's like this weird thing that you like almost want to keep to yourself and not
Yeah.
like share widely because you don't want to like
There's no Laneys.
you don't want to jinx it.
Yeah.
It's a very weird yeah. And you also don't want if you want to name it after someone, but then you change your mind, you don't want to like tell them in advance.
Oh, God.
And then be like,
Actually, I hate your name.
so you don't want to do it
Yeah.
anymore.
And then you do the middle name thing, and it's just not as
Girls are crazy about their names. It's so annoying to me when I have a friend, like I had a friend who was having a baby and they just refused to tell anyone the name till they were born. And it's just like, come on.
Yeah, what? No one cares that much.
Yeah, exactly.
If you already have the name, it's not like anyone's gonna steal it.
Exactly. I would want to say it so
That you can't
so
take
that you
it.
can't take it if
Yeah.
you're pregnant.
Or
But-
like give me things with an embroidered name on it.
exactly,
Like, that'd be
right?
cute.
Yeah, you couldn't get them in embroidered stuff. It was interesting, and I was like so annoyed. I'm like, so just tell me the name.
Yeah. I love that.
Come on. And that's if you can believe it, we're only halfway through the episode.
I know, that's crazy.
The girls have bar nuts, and we discover that Carrie is late
Yeah. Late her period,
on
not
her period.
for work. Shouldn't have
Uh,
a job.
Yeah, the girls. Someone says, "Oh, Samantha says I will not be made to feel inadequate." Just
And I genuinely believe, like, I think that Samantha is a little bit, she's obviously upset and distressed. And I don't think it's because she's thinking she's missing out on anything.
no.
I think she just genuinely doesn't want to hang out with moms or like with
Yeah.
people like Lainey. I think that and that's fine. That's just not Samantha's like vibe. And I think she just gets kind of annoyed. She wants to get back to Manhattan. She wants to sleep with her doorman and like just
Yeah.
like work.
And day to day, I'm not thinking about having a kid. But when I hang out with all my friends with kids,
Mhm.
I'm certainly thinking about it more
Mhm.
and it's like not necessarily a comfortable feeling if you
Yeah.
it's not fun like
Yeah.
if you're in Sam's position. And I think she probably is feeling like I will not be made to feel inadequate, like because she's feeling judgment from other people
It's
because
kind of like the marriage episode where they go to the wedding. and
Yeah.
none of them are married. Yeah.
exactly. And then Carrie says, you don't have to lose yourself to have a kid. I know a ton of women who still have great jobs and lives, and they say who. And it's true.
Yeah. I think that now in today's society, yes, it is possible to have kids and have a career. I think
Yeah.
we know that that's very possible.
Mm-hmm.
My question is it possible to do both of those things 100%?
It's a good question.
And I don't know why this reminded me of Marley and Me. I love
Mhm.
that movie so much. I've seen it a million times.
Yeah,
But
so
Jennifer
good.
Aniston,
Mhm.
when she has the baby, she's still a writer. She still has her job. She has both. And she's like, when I'm here at home, all I'm thinking about is work. And
Yeah.
when I'm at work, all I'm thinking about is him.
Yeah.
And I don't want to, and if I'm going to give up one of those things, it can't be him.
Yeah.
And I wonder if you really want to have a career, but you also really want to be a mom. Obviously, those things are
They
very
can
doable.
coexist.
They can coexist. But, and this is something like I would like to ask, like, you know, moms that we know of like, do you think that you're doing both those things 100%? And if so, how hard is that? And like, is it too much? Is it something that you're giving more to one? I mean, I'm sure you're giving more to being a mother because it just takes more.
Yeah.
Like it takes.
That's a job you never clock out of.
Exactly. I mean, obviously nannies, babysitters, when you're at work, school helps, like all of those things help. But like she said in the movie, she was like, but I'm always thinking about him or like my kid, like
Yeah.
what they're doing, what they're, you know. And I think that the same thing when you're with your kid, you're like, oh, I could be doing this for my job. I have this deadline. I like have to work on this. And it's like, that seems very, very scary to me.
And there's been a big shift too for our generation to where most men actually like can't necessarily support a family on their own anymore, especially as women are like growing in their careers. Like I have friends that are like, I would happily quit my job tomorrow, but we can't afford to lose my income because and oftentimes they're making almost as much as their husbands
Yeah.
are. So imagine losing half of that income at that point. And so it's kind of fascinating. I read that that was partly why there's been this like white male resurgence of like wanting to return to before times because men were kind of grown up learning that like you can support a family and you can do this. And fact is, jobs just don't really pay as much anymore. And there's so much equality now that men and women are fully on the same playing field, which is great. But that leaves women to now have to do both jobs essentially when it was really never like that before. And families can't afford to lose that. Like if Greg and I had a baby tomorrow, I don't have a job and a ton of people have been asking me like, now that you don't have a job, are you thinking about having a baby? And it's like, no. Like
Not at all. The opposite.
you mean now that we only have half of our household income? Like I make as much as Greg. Like we can't afford to lose that. Like especially not if we're going to support a kid. So there's been a real like shift in that as well. And a lot of women like don't want to have to do both, but they do have to do both, you know?
It's true. Yeah. It might be more of a necessity now.
Yeah. Which is interesting. I also know like I have friends that are like, I would happily quit my job tomorrow if it if it meant like whatever. And then I have other women that are like,
I miss my job.
yeah,
you
like
know?
maternity leave fucking sucks. I'm ready to get back to myself and feel normal because it is not a vacation either. Like
No.
like
No.
going to work sometimes feels like a vacation after that.
Where are we? I said, of course, Charlotte has a dream box.
Oh my gosh, the Dreambox scene is out of pocket. The OG Pinterest is what I wrote. She just like hugs the box. Oh, she pulls out a gift for Shayla.
See, she's a pillow with Shayla embroidered on it. Like, come on.
It's the ugliest pillow
It's
I've
terrible.
ever seen. It's so ugly and bad.
It's really
You couldn't
bad.
have gotten like a cuter pillow.
But that probably means that she made it like 20 years ago. Probably.
Charlotte's crazy, man.
She has like her house in the Hamptons, like photo of a townhome.
Her dream man, her other dream man, and she's
just tearing them up.
This is when the show just like sometimes goes off the rails for me. I'm like, this scene is so
Could have gone without the scene.
could have gone without the scene and her like hugging her dream box. Like that's Charlotte.
Dream box is wild.
Then we go to Carrie and Miranda in the drugstore, fixing to buy some pregnancy tests.
Carrie's nervous, but she starts to kind of accept the fact. Well, not accept it, but like really consider like what if. And I don't know. I feel like that was kind of a turning point for Carrie. Like I've never really seen her even think about obviously kids or anything, but like the Carrie from maybe 5 episodes ago might have been freaking out, immediately running to the nearest drugstore, getting the first pregnancy test she saw, like screaming, crying, like throwing a fit, because that would have been the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
And then when she found out she might be pregnant, she kind of was very calm about it.
It feels kind of like a natural next step. From last episode, she was at Stanford's grandma's house and she was like looking at the family photos and was like, I think I want this.
Yeah.
Like, I want a husband and kids. And so you can tell she's seriously considering it. And she's also like afraid of what her friends might think, funnily enough. Like, am I going to lose you guys if I do this? Like, staring at Miranda in particular.
Yeah.
And she said, like, what if I am? And Miranda just says, like, if you am, you am.
Oh,
Miranda is her ride or die.
Miranda is,
like,
yeah. When it comes to the bonds, I think Miranda and Carrie are, they have a really, really strong bond.
Yeah. Miranda and Carrie, I feel like we've said this before, but like definitely the closest friendship of them all. And I couldn't imagine her she couldn't bring Charlotte because Charlotte would be too excited.
Yeah.
And so it feels like it's only natural that she would bring Miranda.
Yeah. She can't bring Sam because Samantha would have just been like,
Who cares?
too sad. Yeah. Either too like sad because she thinks she's going to lose Carrie, or just like telling her like, oh, well, you don't have to have it, like the whole time. Like, she just trying to be like just too like flippant about the whole thing. And I feel like Miranda's definitely and like middle of the road, is like, whatever happens, I'm here for you. Like,
yeah. And she knows, even despite Miranda's cynicism, like she will be there. Pregnancy scares. Ever had them?
yeah. Yeah.
I've never taken a pregnancy test. Never had a scare.
I've taken many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. It's
Yeah.
scary.
I'm not like, I feel like you're very responsible when it comes to
birth control.
things like that. Also just like your overall health and like, just taking care of yourself.
Reproductive system.
I'm just not, But probably because like my mom never like talked to me about anything like that.
Yeah, I think I was like ingrained, because our parents had us so young. I was like ingrained with this idea that like, no, a pregnancy is like the worst thing that could ever happen to you.
Yeah.
And like, if you have sex at any point without protection, like you will be pregnant.
You will get pregnant and die.
Yeah, and die. So I've been on birth control, and I credit my mom to like taking me to get birth control at 16 before I even had sex for the first time. Because of that, I don't know if and when I finally do decide to have kids, like, who knows what's going on down there if I can't.
I don't think that's not accurate.
I don't
think
know.
any of that is true.
I've heard, and I don't know enough about it to say
Those
if
are
it's
all
true,
horror stories.
that like if you've been on birth control for a long time, that it can kind of fuck with that.
I don't think that's true. I think you're trying to tell yourself that a little bit. I think that if you got off your birth control, you would be pregnant in a week.
In a week.
Yeah, like Taylor.
That's the math.
Yeah. Like I don't think that has anything to do with anything. I think people use that to scare women who have been on birth control their whole life, because birth control means that you don't want to have kids, and that means that you're not a traditional woman. And I think that those are just to scare us,
it's
because
a wives' tale.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't agree with those.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
And I will say, in favor of the moms and the babies, the only time recently or ever in my life I've seriously thought about, like, maybe I'm ready to have kids right now, is our 4th of July trip, when I had all of my nieces and nephews. I had Leo, Izzy, and Emmy. And it was just like so much, like all of these little kids at different stages,
baby fever,
like
on max
in their lives, like the infant, the toddler, and the kid. And like being like, oh my God, my heart is so full of love, like that I want to do this. Yeah. Like I got drunk one night and I was like, should we take my IUD out? And Greg goes, now?
Yes, Greg, reach in there.
Yeah, get in
and
there.
get it out right now, because you know how to do that.
I was like, no, not now. It's like, I mean, like in general. And he was like,
Right now.
I
It's not like a tampon. You can't just reach in a string and pull it
He
out.
was like prepared to. He was like, now?
Is that what you want? Okay. God, that's great.
And his response was like, I think we need to think about this a little more before he's like, I think
You're like, yeah, we have time. I'm not going to the doctor tomorrow.
Yeah. And then of course I came to the next morning. I was like, that was crazy.
That was crazy.
That was crazy, dog.
Like, remember when I told you I loved you? That was crazy.
We've been doing this thing where we just can't stop calling each other dog.
Dog.
Like,
Yeah.
that was crazy, dog.
Me and Brad have been calling each other dude way too much.
It's like so unsexy.
It's terrible.
We literally like cannot stop. And like, it's like that Parks and Rec episode where he's like, are we calling everyone baby now?
Yeah.
We just cannot stop
Stop
saying
saying-
dog. I'm like,
Because once it's a thing, it's a thing.
yeah, exactly. Where you at, dog?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's so unsexy. And then, like, you want a party, dog? And our definition of party now is doing a crossword in bed.
Yes. We're the same.
Yeah. It's so good. Okay, where are we at? Are we at the
I don't have a baby.
I don't have
shower.
a baby party. Fabulous.
Fabulous. She goes, or Carrie goes, Samantha threw an I don't have a baby shower to let everyone know she was fabulous.
That's such a good line. Oh my God, I loved it so
And she's
much.
just going around like pouring champagne, and she's like, I'm not pregnant.
She's got the boobs. She looks fabulous.
Great.
Like, this would be actually a really fun party to throw, like in New York or something,
Yes.
when all your friends don't have babies.
Yeah.
I couldn't throw that here because I'd just be an asshole.
Yeah.
but-
Yeah. Oh, I thought my best dressed was Samantha's leopard print ottoman.
Oh, hell yes.
I'm obsessed.
Samantha's house looks exactly like you think her
I
house
love
would
it.
look like.
That's my dream home.
It's so good. I
Yeah.
love it so much. If she fucks on that couch, she's buying.
buying it.
That line.
She has morals.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
just keeps repeating itself. Funny random story, but in my house, we had an incident where my friend Molly lived on the bottom floor, and a party at our house had ended. Everyone presumably had gone home, or maybe it wasn't even a party. I can't remember. And Molly just hears, I guess maybe I wasn't living there at that point. Doesn't matter. She just hears people like rummaging around on the couch. And one thing you don't know about Molly is she's actually like blind as a bat. She like has
Really?
like intense contacts on most of the time, and she's got to have her glasses or else she really can't see. She's had glasses, like Coke bottle glasses, since she was like 7.
That's so cute.
Yeah. And she's like, and she just thinks like maybe it's some roommates or whatever. And so she goes out there without her glasses and she's like, can you guys keep it down? Like, and they're like, okay. And then she gets back into bed and she's like, I don't think I recognize that voice. Like, I don't know who that was. And she's like putting it together. And then she comes back out with her glasses on and she realizes there's just 2 strangers fucking on the couch. Fucking on the couch.
Oh my God.
And she was like, what do you, and because like she literally had just said keep it down.
Keep
and
it down,
they were
and
just
he was like,
okay.
okay.
And then they kept doing it. And then she came out and like, she was like, what the fuck are you doing?
Who are you?
And they like got mad at her and she was like, get the fuck out.
Oh my God.
And they were like, come on. Like,
Come on,
yeah.
man.
She's like, no, that's my couch. This is my living
Who
room.
are you?
Literally.
That is awesome.
That
Thinking
guy-
about that being Molly too.
I
She's just
know.
so sweet.
Fuck out. Like, it's just so like, can you keep it down?
Yeah.
And then like being like, wait a
Wait.
second. Like, I
What's
need to
that
put my
voice?
glasses
Yeah.
on.
You just keep it down.
Just hilarious. So yeah, and we had that couch for another 2 years. Pretty disgusting
That's
couch that was. You couldn't sit on that couch. You wanted to like be wearing like full clothes
Yeah.
on that couch.
Yeah. No bare legs on that couch.
No bare legs. So iconic. Miranda, yeah, if she fucks on the couch, she buys it. Then Lainey shows up, pregnant to a rager. Tough.
Crazy. Yeah.
It's just sad the rest of the
And that's what
episode.
Samantha says. Yeah. She's like, it's sad. Lainey shows up and she wants to be, the fun party Lainey that she used to be.
Mhm.
And she's trying to drink and Carrie's like trying to keep her away from the bottle. And
It's just embarrassing.
it's so uncomfortable. And I love how they film this of like First of all, there's no like music playing. And
Yeah.
if there is, it's very faint,
I know.
which I love. I almost think that Samantha did it on purpose
Yeah.
because she wanted her to be as uncomfortable as possible.
Record scratch. And she like asked for a drink, which is just like, oh no.
Terrible.
So like Carrie's then trying to keep her away from the vodka.
Yeah. And then she goes, yeah, I want to party. She goes over to the bar, tries to make a drink. Carrie takes it away from her, and then she's like, "What's everyone being so lame for? Anyone see my tits?" And that's when she gets up on the ottoman and it's very uncozy.
It's like so uncomfortable. And
The
Sam,
one guy, he's like, "Yeah,
I'll see him.
totally.
Sure."
Just-
Sam says, this is the most fabulous validation I've ever got in my life.
Yeah.
She also said she gives birth on that couch. She buys it. But at the end of the day, the girls were actually good friends
They
to
were,
Lainey. They
yeah.
were like,
Even Sam like gave
Yeah.
her some water. And then Carrie walks her out to the cab and she says, what does she say to Carrie?
she says, somebody should warn you. One day
Yeah.
you're going to wake up and you're not going to recognize
I
yourself.
was like, when did Sex and the City get so sad?
I
all of a
know.
sudden?
It was like they just randomly will throw at you these like really powerful quotes.
Mhm.
And it like, somebody should warn you. One day you're going to wake up and not recognize yourself is just like really powerful.
I also love how they gave Lainey just a little bit more depth. She wasn't just this like
this bitch.
this
who-
character
Mhm.
that everyone is making fun of and just like not a good person or anything like that. Like she has depth to her. She has this underlying sense of regret and fear and and I just like how the show kind of gave her an arc throughout this episode.
Yeah, and I was just proud of the way the girls handled that for her too. I just wrote night bitch.
Yeah.
Then Carrie spends the entire next day watching children play. Would I somehow manage to stay me?
Yeah.
And then on the way home, I got my period, and she looks sad.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of it's a place we don't see her go very often. It's just that like she's bummed a little bit.
Yeah, and I think that she definitely wanted to be pregnant, at least subconsciously. I think that she wants the decision to be made for her. She
Yeah.
doesn't. She's afraid
She doesn't want
to
to make it.
the decision of like, yeah, I want to have a baby. Which, first of all, she couldn't just have a baby with Big. He wouldn't be down with that.
Yeah.
But I think that if it could be anyone, it would be Big. So if that happened accidentally, I think it would be
It would be good.
a good thing for her.
Exactly. It would kind of give her maybe what she wanted in a roundabout way, which is fascinating. I think about that like during the time that Greg, we weren't sure if he wanted kids, and I was like, I'm pretty sure I want kids. We kind of told a few people about it, and I had people tell me like, it's not really his choice. Like, you could do it. And I'm like, what?
I mean, yeah. But I don't think that
I don't
I think
subscribe to that.
you
Yeah.
you also love Greg enough to look him in the eyes and tell him, if you don't want to have kids and I do, like, there would be a problem. And I think
Yeah.
that's love. Like, that comes from a place of like, you wouldn't want to burden his life with something that he didn't want.
Yeah, I have no desire to have children with someone who doesn't want
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
you know? And it was interesting in my conversation that I was having with they were saying they know someone who it was the same situation where the woman wanted kids and the man didn't. And he basically said, okay, we can have kids, but they're your kids. I'm not doing any of that. Like, I'm not doing diapers. I'm not doing. And they did. They had 2 kids, and he is hands off. And it was
That's
fascinating to
sad.
me. I know. That's not an existence that I would.
At that point, I would say, okay, well, let's just get a divorce and you pay me child support every month. Like, why would I don't know. Like, at that point, I wouldn't see why you would want.
It sounds like this person is like wealthy and he can like support the kids and
Yeah.
support their family financially. But he was just like, if that's something you want to do, like,
Yeah.
I'm not doing that work.
That's what she wants. Yeah.
Yeah.
More power to her.
It was just fascinating
Yeah.
because, like, yeah, no, that's not an existence I would ever want to live. And ultimately, I don't think Carrie would have been happy if she had a kid because Big is not going to fucking, he's not going to step up.
No.
He'll give her money, but
Yeah,
he's
that's
not
about it.
up with her doing diaper duty.
No
Not
way.
like Steve.
Not spoilers.
Miranda. And that's the end of that episode. You know what time it is?
Awards.
Welcome to the Emmys.
It's Oscar season, baby. Speaking of the Oscars,
It's coming up.
snubs left and right.
Snubbed.
Zendaya, challengers,
Zendaya Dune.
but nothing for challengers.
Nothing for
But
challengers.
she was
Not
way
even
better
the
in
score.
challengers.
She was great in both. I'm nothing like Dune kind of got snubbed in
I've never
general.
seen
You
Dune.
didn't see Dune too. Amelia Perez, what's up with
I don't know.
that?
I don't.
What is up with that?
It's sad,
It's
honestly.
universally hated.
I don't.
That movie. Angelina Jolie snubbed.
Snubbed.
Pamela Anderson snubbed.
Snubbed.
And for what?
For who?
For who? Margaret Qualley snubbed.
The guy from Anora. Proud of him. Love him.
Proud of him. Proud of Honora. I really hope Timmy wins. I'll be.
It's gonna be Adrian Brody. It's 100% gonna be Adrian Brody.
You know, Adrian Brody is the youngest person to have ever won an Oscar.
well, not youngest person.
A youngest man.
Yeah. Anna
And
Paquin is the youngest.
who?
Anna Paquin.
Oh.
She won when she was like 9.
He's the youngest person to have ever won an Oscar, but if Timmy wins, he will be both beating him and dethroning him from the youngest person to ever win an Oscar. And there is a ton of controversy right now around Adrian Brody using AI for his performance.
I did read that.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about it, but
He
I did read a
used-
headline or something like that.
AI was used to like help improve his accent or something, which people are very pissed about.
That's interesting.
Mhm.
I didn't know if it was AI for his appearance or something like that. But if it's his accent,
Yeah. That feels like
feels like a disqualification
that's what I'm
to
saying.
me. And then it'd be Timmy.
Mm.
But if that turns out to not be true, he's gonna. I mean, I think that there's no way he's not gonna win it. Every single critic is like, Adrian Brody in this film is like.
It's like it's not fair. He's played a Holocaust survivor
I
before.
get it. He's always so stressed out about the Holocaust.
Yeah.
Every time I see Adrian Brody, it's just like,
Who is the host of the Emmys where she said Adrian Brody, 2-time Holocaust survivor,
Nikki
is here.
Glaser, yeah.
Classic. Yeah, I still have yet to see The Brutalist. I'm waiting for it to be on rent so I can watch it in two installments. Yeah, just a random. I'm really proud of The Substance. Have you seen The Substance
course.
yet? Yeah.
it's great.
I'm very psyched that like I think it's one of the few like horror representations. I feel like
I'm also surprised that Nosferatu Lily Rose Depp wasn't nominated.
she was amazing.
She was so good. Annie Amy Adams.
I didn't know you could do that stuff with your face and tongue. That
She's
Lily Rose Depp was
she's crazy.
like
good.
the shit she did with her face. You know what? We were in the. I don't even know if I should tell you this. We were in Nosferatu watching. Like we were very early in, like when she's like laying in bed with the cat on the bed,
yeah.
and Greg goes, "She kind of looks like Morgan." I was like, "No."
I don't know how to take that.
I didn't know how to take it either because she's also like very sexualized in the movie. And I was like,
Yeah, and towards the end, like
Yeah.
Greg's like, take it back.
yeah, like I was just like, I said, in what way?
Greg, lay off.
It's like, I just wish
You would have kept that to yourself.
yeah, I don't know. I just feels weird for you to say.
Head.
I didn't even think about that. Weirdly,
Roasted me.
I think she actually looks kind of like Izzy, like in her like she's got like the same like face.
Well,
shape.
everyone says that Izzy looks like me.
I know
so
exactly. So I was like, I guess in a roundabout way, but
I'll
I
take it.
it's a compliment, but
she has crazy cheeks.
I looked at
Are
him.
those filled or is that
I think
natural?
it's just her face because her dad is Johnny Depp, so her
Yeah.
dad has that face.
And her mom is like a model, so
Yeah.
that makes sense.
I think she's just got incredible genetics.
Yeah.
I don't, I would take it as a compliment, but I don't necessarily see
Yeah.
a ton of resemblance. Especially because her eyes are like black in that movie.
Yeah.
Too. But I was just like, you're pissing me off. Okay, back to the awards. This is actually topical because this is going to air in like 2 days, so people
Oh yeah,
it won't be
that's true.
lagging. Okay. Who won the episode?
God, it's one of those where it's like, did anyone really win?
I say Samantha.
Yeah, you could say Samantha. I want to say in a really like, in a weird way, Lainey
I had Lainey lost. Yeah.
I know I see that, but I also feel like Lainey kind of came full circle with herself. I think that she realized that in order to have this baby, she can't really be the kind of partier that she was. And yes, it took some sadness and some, saying really terrible things as she's getting into a cab. But like, I don't know. I feel like she probably came out of that day looking forward more to like, it's kind of like the last hurrah. Like, and then she realized, okay, now here is my life. And she goes back to her life and knows that like she's now going to be a mom and like all this stuff. I don't know. I feel like in a way, if I would have seen more of her, like after, like I kind of want more Lainey.
Wow.
I know.
Hot take. That's a very optimistic take.
Maybe, yeah.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I just have Sam.
Mhm.
And then who lost the episode? I had Lainey. And then I said also Carrie.
Yeah, Carrie lost. Oh, you know who else probably won? Big. Because Carrie's not pregnant.
Big definitely won this one.
Yeah, Carrie lost it.
He didn't have to hang out with Carrie's crazy ass. She was busy.
Yeah.
Best outfit. I think it's obvious for me. Oh,
I said the
ottoman?
leopard print ottoman.
I have Samantha at the baby shower.
Yeah.
It's just iconic.
Yeah.
And then I liked Carrie in the flashback with her cowboy hat and her. I just love crop tops. I think
She looks so good.
Worst outfit.
The Miranda in the opening
Miranda
scene.
in the flashback. Fuck ass
Crazy.
Bob. Just a
Fuck ass Bob.
crazy outfit. Best quote.
Bitch, let's go.
Yeah. That's obviously the obvious one. And then the other one I just really liked was it's sad the way she's using a child to validate her existence. Why can't she just use sex and a nice cocktail like the rest of us?
That's a great one. Or Miranda, if you am, you am.
If you am, you am. It's like, pop off, queen.
I love that.
What aged the best?
Dive bars.
Oh.
I love a dive.
Yeah, the dive bar was pretty iconic. Nothing like a beer and some nuts. Oh, I love a beer right now, actually. Sober January stuff. What aged the best? I just said the trope is still true. And maybe even more true as more women decide not to have babies.
Are you not going to drink tomorrow?
Oh no, I'm drinking.
Okay.
Drink today.
So it's like, I don't know if it's all like a skit or maybe it was like a commercial of like like these four friends and she's like hosting a little dinner party and she's not drinking. They're like, you're not drinking? She's like, no, dry January. And then they're like, oh, what about blah blah blah's baby shower next week? Oh, I'm definitely drinking at that. She's like, oh, what about birthday party? Oh, absolutely drinking at that. And they're like, you're not drinking tonight? Oh no, I'll have a glass tonight. Yeah. It's like you keep coming up with excuses why to drink.
No, literally we had the one cheat day and we were like, this is our one cheat day. It was last Saturday. I forget why we said we were going to a concert. And then obviously we have a karaoke birthday party tomorrow.
What are you gonna do?
We're not going to be
drink
sober
at a
for that.
Karaoke party?
And now at that point we're like, okay, well fuck it. It's Friday.
I've been doing the 1 day a week.
1 day a week.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I feel like that just works. I don't know. Because you have like a day to look forward to that you kind of just like unwind. And you're not, I feel like a whole month is a little unrealistic for me. And I'm not going to set myself up for failure.
I agree. We did 2 weekends, which was kind of a lot for us. And then, last week it was just the 1 day. And now, I don't know. I'll probably have a glass of wine tonight, though.
Yeah. Fuck it.
Once you break, you
Once you
break. What age the worst?
Female only baby showers
Yeah. I said a
and
bit.
fuck ass bobs.
And fuck ass pops. I just said a bit too much shame put on women who,
Moms.
yeah,
Yeah.
who choose to be mothers. Who was the most toxic?
Miranda.
Yes.
Again, just shaming moms too much. We love you,
Miranda.
moms.
Was it feminist?
Yes.
Yeah, I said yes. Unresounding yes.
Yeah.
And that's that.
And no discussion further, but yes.
No further discussion.
10 out of 10. I would give it probably an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
I really liked it.
You're reserving your 10s for.
I'm reserving my 10s.
Yeah, for me, this was knock out of the park.
Yeah.
Perfect. Everything I want from a Sex and the City episode, I got it. Yeah.
Should we start a Severance podcast?
Oh, I'm so
Obsessed.
in.
Absolutely obsessed.
If you're not watching Severance.
Severance plug.
Oh, and rate, subscribe.
Oh, yeah.
Love you.
Love you guys.